Hey, this is John, and you're watching the Real Man RomCom Review. This week I'm going to give you my worst 3 movies from the 6 premiere movies on Hallmark and Great American Family for the weekend of November 4th through 6th. Number 6 this past week was A Royal Christmas on Ice, which aired Saturday, November the 5th on Great American Family. Now, Abigail Simpson, played by Anna Marie Dobbins, fell and injured herself in the Olympic trials. Dreams and confidence squashed. She quits competing and starts teaching or coaching or whatever at a rink in her hometown of Evanston, New York. Now, she's preparing for the big Christmas ice parade. Now, Prince John of Donegal, which is a tiny country just outside of Belgium, is the youngest child and has no hope of ascending to the throne. Thank God they finally did that. A diehard hockey fan, he wants to make his mark by owning a hockey team in the United States. He sneaks off and flies off to the States where he meets with prominent property owner Daryl Black, played by William Baldwin, who suggests he goes to the small town of Evanston where he can build his team, the Evanston Monarchs, from the ground up. At Abby's rink, a realtor comes and informs her that the owner is looking to repurpose the skating rink, which would put Abby out of business. Abby needs to sell out her show if she wants to save the rink. So Abby stops by the local restaurant to pick up a cake she ordered for a party. And as she's leaving with the cake, she turns around and bam, runs right into Prince John, destroying the cake. Not a great first impression. Later that day, Chad, who's Abby's ex, runs into Abby and wants to mend fences and get back together. I mean, he even offers to help her with the rink, but only if they get back together. I mean, what a nice guy, right? Good thing Abby has no interest in relighting that burnout flame. Meanwhile, back in Donegal, staff member Marshall and Crown Prince Roger decide to keep John's venture from their mother, who would not approve. Mother gets wind of the conversation and eventually confronts Marshall, who crumbles and tells where Prince John has gone. Now, Mother wants Marshall to track him down by following his credit card usage and bring him home. I don't get that. It didn't make any sense to me. But anyway, at a party that evening, Abby sees that the cake has been replaced, and Prince John appears and informs her that he brought it over. Prince John, or just John as he is here in Evanston, meets Abby's parents. And Mom takes a liking to him and is determined to help get Abby and John together. Now Chad, good old Chad, he's also at the party, where he gives Abby a snowflake pendant. And John sees Chad placing the chain on Abby's neck and assumes that she's taken, and then he leaves the party. And in an effort to spend more time with Abby, John comes up with the idea to finds out that she teaches the skating. So he goes to the rink and he wants Abby to give him some lessons. Now John plays off that he isn't a very accomplished skater, but I really think it's a ruse to keep him close to Abby so that they can skate together. Anyway, John eventually is invited to Abby's house for dinner, where Abby's father has made candy cane cheeseburger casserole. Oh my God, seriously. I mean, hamburger helper with crushed candy canes in it? How revolting is that? Anyway, Abby and John are sent off to get dessert because for whatever reason Mom didn't plan for dessert, where they are recruited to help decorate 400 cupcakes for something that's getting ready to happen. Now, John asks Abby to dance at the restaurant, and they are interrupted by Chad and his buddies just as Abby and Prince John are about to kiss. Abby arrives the next morning to start helping with the cupcakes, and she discovers that John has beat her there by an hour. They set off decorating cupcakes with pipettes. Now, I'll talk more about that later, but anyway, Abby and John give out the cupcakes at the events and at that evening, where John feels the joy of being in service to others. And in a last-ditch effort to help boost ticket sales for their big ice show, Abby decides to lace up and skate, much to everyone's delight. Just after the announcement, Marshall and Daryl appear at the rink, where Marshall is calling him Your Highness. And Daryl chimes in that Abby's rink would be a great place for John to host his hockey team. Abby, crushed and feeling lied to by John, tells him she never wants to see him again. So what does Abby do? She goes to the restaurant, gets a shake, and starts drowning her sorrows in chocolate milkshake sorrow. Anyway, Prince John shows up, tells her he didn't know that this was the rink that Daryl had in mind for him. Now look, this is a small town in Evanston, New York. How many hockey rinks can they have in this town? Anyway, Abby agrees that he wants a second chance, and Abby agrees, and they finish the dance that was interrupted the day before. It's very sweet. Anyway, Abby skates to close out the sold-out ice show, and while she's skating, Prince John and Daryl agree to find another property for the ice rink and in another town. So as Abby is bowing and everyone's applauding, the announcer comes over the crowd and says, "Oh wait, there's going to be one more skate, a pair skate between Abby and Prince John, who skates out in what I can only assume is his full dress uniform. Kissy kissy, happily ever after." Alright, so listen, now Jonathan Stoddard, who played Prince John, he reminded me a lot of Patrick Dempsey in one of my all-time favorite rom-coms, Enchanted. I mean, he and Anna have definite charisma together, and if it weren't for that, this movie would not have been tolerable to watch. There were a few things that I noticed in this that were kind of fun. When Prince John left the castle, all he was carrying was this little dinky overnight bag, yet he has days worth of clothing, including his dress uniform. And don't even get me started on the dress uniform. I mean, that thing was horrendous. Anyway, now, who decorates cupcakes with pipettes? I mean, typically you spread frosting over the top of the cupcake. Maybe you use a pipette to create a cute design on top of the frosted cupcake. Oh no, not these two. They just rip that pipette out and start just making little horrible... it was just... come on, man. Really? Honestly. Anyway, the whole mother storyline was dropped after she sends off Marshall, so it didn't make any sense for it to be in the movie. And really, kind of, it was a lost opportunity. I mean, they could have found a way to send him back, and then she had to go there, or who knows. I mean, there was just a lot of other ways they could have gone with this. And then there's mean old Chad. I mean, they set him up to be this horrible person, and then after he goes and he does the thing, they just drop his storyline at the end of the movie. I mean, you know, normally in these movies, the losing guy, he bows out by realizing that his ex is in love with another person, congratulates her, or he leaves town with his tail tucked between his legs. Oh no, not here. They just leave us hanging. Nothing. Anyway. So once again, Great American Family has missed the mark on a Christmas movie, and I must put this on my skip it list. I mean, there is just an obvious difference between Great American Family and Hallmark movie production. I mean, the sets are not as grand, the movie doesn't hit the right mark, and production quality is not nearly as slick. Now, I know Great American Family is still getting its feet wet, and their storylines in the movie are fine, but the way they present them just doesn't compete with Hallmark. Now, next week is their big chance to make a splash with the premiere of A Merry Christmas Wish, starring my girl, Jill Wagner, and my man crush, Cameron Matheson, a.k.a. Tim the Tree Man. If you don't know what that is, go see The Christmas Ornament. So if these two big names can't give us a top-line movie, I'm afraid this could be a long and sad Christmas movie season for Bill Abbott, Candace Cameron Bure, and the Great American Family as a whole. My number 5 movie this week was A Maple Valley Christmas, which aired Saturday on 11/5, that was the 5th of November, on the Hallmark Movies Mysteries channel. Maple Valley Farm, the largest maple syrup farm in Montana, is run by Erica, who's played by Peyton List, who's not the same Peyton List who was in Cobra Kai. Okay? Now, her mom intends to retire and turn over full operation to her sisters. And their neighbor is planning to retire himself, and he's going to sell his tree farm. Now, he tells Erica and his sister Heidi that while he knows they want to buy the property, he's being forced to list it because he's got a partner, and his partner is requiring it to be listed. So we go to Chicago, where Aaron Davenport, played by Andrew Walker, works for his dad, who owns Davenport Homes. Now, Dad has had his eye on property in that area, and he wants to bid on the tree farm. So he sends Aaron to go see the property, make the offer, and close the deal. Now, as Aaron is driving along the road, he sees a fully saddled horse alongside the road. Now, he just gets out, mounts up, heads back into the woods to go find the owners. Now, Erica happens to find him, and they walk together back to the house, and they put the horse away. And he sees these Stetsons hanging on the wall, and he asks where he can buy one, to which she informs him, you don't buy one, you have to earn it. Now, as they're leaving and heading back to the car, Erica's mom sees them and invites them in to come have eggnog with the family. And as he's about to leave, Erica jumps him and gives him this big passionate kiss right on the front porch. Aaron reveals to her that he's there to buy the land, to which Erica tells him, well, there she goes, she picks the wrong man. So much for instant love, right? Anyway, the next day, Erica tells Aaron that her family used to own the tree farm land, and she's been waiting for 30 years to buy it back. But Aaron says, no problem, I'll just call Dad and tell him no deal on the land. Of course, he calls. Dad's not happy to hear the news. So Aaron gets a call from his assistant, who's on vacation, that his dad called him and told him that he was going to move forward with the land, and he's upping the price that he's going to offer to pay for the land. But Aaron doesn't bother to tell Erica that his father is still interested in the land. So Sister Heidi, who she's supposed to go into partnership with, doesn't want to buy this tree farm land. She wants to use money to invest in things to grow the business. And Mom fesses up that she's going to go off to Italy once she retires, so these sisters are going to have to work out their differences about the purchase of the land between themselves. Back at the farm, Aaron volunteers to make candies for the local fair. He and Erica have a near-kiss moment after he burns his fingers, sticking it into the hot melted maple syrup. I mean, seriously. I mean, come on. You're on a stove. There's hot candied liquid on the stove. And you're going to stick your finger in it like you're going to lick it or something. Anyway, not the best moment, but hey. As Aaron is leaving from making the candy that night, Dad shows up at the farm. When he's asked by Aaron why he's there, well, he says he's going to go look at the tree farm. And Erica is shocked to find out that they are still in the running for the land that supposedly they weren't in the running for anymore. Now, at the fair that they went to, Erica, without her sister's approval, makes a full price offer on the tree farm when she's pressed on it by the owner of the tree farm, Mr. Hernandez. Now, Heidi is later approached by Mr. Hernandez asking when the offer is going to be sent to him. She confronts Erica about it and informs her that, hey, it didn't matter anyway. They lost because the Davenports have outbid them. Now, Mom tells Erica that the trip to Italy isn't just a temporary trip. She's going to live with Leo, who was her Italian tutor on her previous vacation to Rome. Now, Leo is invited to come to the U.S., and he comes to meet the family, and, well, Erica's pretty frosty towards him. I mean, Leo wants to incorporate his Italian Christmas traditions, and Erica is set in her ways and just doesn't want to change. Now, Erica and Aaron, they have dinner together at the family's barrel room dinner event, where they get to dance with each other. And Aaron confesses that he feels found whenever he is with her, but Erica, jilted by an old love, is still struggling to let that love take hold. So, still in conflict with his dad, Aaron quits the company to save what is left of their relationship. Aaron and Erica have a fight in the barn where Erica says he isn't going to play cowboy with her to find himself. He tells her that she doesn't pick the wrong men, she just picks good men and she pushes them away. Basically, at this point, they are both boneheads. So we get to Christmas Eve, and Erica calls and apologizes to Aaron via voicemail and asks him to come over for dinner. And as they sit for dinner, the doorbell rings. Erica goes to the door, opens the door, and it's Aaron's dad, who Erica has invited to dinner. Now they sit down again, and another ring of the doorbell. This time it's Aaron. And Aaron and Dad, they get together and they hug it out and everything's all great. And woo! And they have dinner together. Well, then there's a final scene. They run out to the barn together. Erica gives Aaron a gift. And what is that gift? Of course, it's a Stetson. She tells him that he never had to earn it in the first place. And they kissy, maple syrup candies for everyone. Now, this has been the best entry of the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries season so far. I mean, the kiss at the 16-minute mark of the movie totally defied the traditional formula for the movie. I mean, I thought we were in for a wild ride, but ultimately the kiss ended up kind of feeling out of place and odd once the whole story played out. See, there were great moments of sharing and kindness with each other, and you could see their love for each other grow. But Erica, like Pharaoh, well, she kept hardening her heart until she realized the error of her ways. Now, we did get a tree lighting scene and a cooking scene, all classic Christmas movie moments. And this is the second movie that I've seen this year with an Elf reference to it. Elf the movie reference to it. So, woohoo! Anyway, so can we talk about Archie the horse? Okay? Now, who puts a fully saddled horse in a barn stall? Okay? Now, worse off, they find the horse, they get back, they put the horse back. What does she do? She puts the fully saddled horse back in the barn and closes the door. I mean, come on, folks. This is just lazy filming right there. Anyway, despite all of that, this is solidly on my worth a watch list. My number 4 movie from this past weekend's premieres was Love at the Christmas Contest, which premiered Sunday, November 6th on Great American Family. Now, Angie, played by Samantha Cope, runs Waldron's Nursery, which her mother started. Now, Mom passed away about a year ago, and Angie has a thing about renaming trees. Angie meets Gabby, who is 10, and Gabby needs a Christmas tree. While they are looking, David Mitchell, played by Ross Yergel, who turns out to be her ex, appears and says that he is Gabby's dad. And they're in town from Florida for the holidays. Now, the Green Pine Grove Town Square Christmas Eve Festival of Lights contest, boy does that need a new name, is about to begin. Now, Angie's dad tells her that Angie's mom had always wanted to win this contest, so Angie gets the idea to enter the contest the day before the contest begins. And she and her friend / co-worker Blair decide, because they needed a theme for the first round of the competition, that they would do the flight of the bumble tree. Anyway, so at the quarterfinals of the contest, Angie discovers that David and Gabby are also contestants. And David and Gabby do a red, white, and blue tree to represent their favorite holiday, the 4th of July. Gabby and David, they win that round, and Angie and Blair finish second, so that means they both qualify for the semifinals. Now, the theme of the semifinals is Angels in Evergreen, and the contest is about to begin, but David and Gabby are not there. It seems that they've had a flat tire on the way to the contest. Now, Angie reaches out to David, and they find out what's going on, and she leaves the contest to go and pick them up and get them there so that they have an opportunity to complete their tree before the contest ends. So because they got back and there's such short time left for all of them to do their tree, Angie doesn't get the angel topper on top of her tree. But despite that, they finished third, and David and Gabby finished second, so they all get to go to the finals. So Gabby invites Angie to dinner. Angie can't seem to find anything to wear for this dinner/date/dinner/date, whatever it is, but manages to show up in a sheer green blouse and jeans. Now, it's not exactly the most impressive outfit for such concern over what to wear. But anyway, it certainly didn't beat the maroon sweater dress that Jill Wagner wore in Christmas Cookies. Ay caramba. Anyway, after dinner, they build a snowman in the yard, and this is Gabby's first ever snowman. And the body of the snowman, it looked like those dot candies where they're kind of fat on the bottom and they kind of taper up in the thing? Well, that's what the bodies look like. Then it looks like they took this itty tiny little bitty head and put it on top. Anyway, they couldn't find carrots to use for the nose, so Gabby found a dill pickle. Now, when they put it in and they get it all done, it actually looked kind of cute with the dill pickle in the nose. So David shows up at Angie's shop later and invites them to the finals gala, and all of a sudden her friend, I have something I need to do. So David and Angie go to the finals gala together. Now, while he's there, he had another task, and that was to see that if Angie could find sunflowers for Gabby, because that was Gabby's mother's favorite flower, and that was all that Gabby wanted for Christmas. Now, come on, folks. It's winter, okay? Sunflowers are not in season. And Angie knows this, but she sets out to find the impossible. David takes Angie to the gala, and when he goes to pick her up, he's talking with Angie's dad and stops in mid-sentence as Angie comes down in her sleeveless red dress. And when Lisa saw this, Lisa went, "Knew it!" to the dress. I mean, it's December. There's snow on the ground. This is not the kind of dress you wear to something where it's freezing cold. Anyway, when David and Angie get home from the thing, they realize that they're standing under the mistletoe. And just as they are about to move in for the kiss, in comes Dad into the room, kiss blown, moment over. Now, David receives an offer for a promotion in Florida. Now, he decides to turn it down, and he tells his sister, who's a nurse who just came home from working the overnight shift, who by the time he gets through telling about his promotion, she has fallen asleep at the counter. Now, that evening, David's sister gives Angie the wrong information about David's job, and Angie leaves. David tries to stop her, but she's got her mind made up about David, so David just up and lets her go. Now, we've arrived at the contest finals, and the theme of the finals is the meaning of Christmas. Angie's tree, dedicated to the memory of her mother, ends up winning. And this fulfills Angie's wish to win the contest for her mom. But despite this, she feels like something is missing. No crap, it's David, of course. Anyway, meanwhile, a store in North Dakota has sunflowers, but they can't get them to there by Christmas. Now, Blair, somehow or another, out of the blue or whatever, gets back in touch with this store, spends an arm and a leg or whatever, and gets the sunflowers there in time for Christmas. Now, the winning tree at the contest gets to be lit on Christmas Eve for the tree lighting. So when they get ready to do the tree lighting, Angie decides, oh, wait a minute, the tree that won, I don't want to do that tree anymore. I want to redesign a tree. And she redesigns it with the sunflowers. And everyone goes, yay, woo! Okay? Angie ends up asking David to say, and he agrees. And kissy kissy, sunflower Christmas to all, and to all a good night. All right, now look, I enjoyed this movie. And I have it on my worth a watch list, so be sure to catch this movie before the season ends. But let me tell you, there were still a few issues with this movie and some other things that I noticed that you ought to know about. Now, the dad in this movie, he's evidently a pretty talented guy. I mean, at one point he manages to wrap a gift almost perfectly from crumpled paper without cutting it or anything else. I mean, you gotta remember, Angie tried to wrap it and it was all smushed up and he hands it back to her and it's perfect. I mean, perfect. He could bake Christmas cookies, and he has this talent with gingerbread. I mean, he makes bridges. He made a Leaning Tower of Pisa. I mean, the guy is a gingerbread guru. Anyway, so what I didn't understand was in the first round of the competition, they were doing the bee thing. Well, remember, she entered the day before, and when they get to the competition, Angie has managed to find bee lights and bee-themed ornaments for the contest in less than a day. I mean, look, Amazon isn't that fast, especially in the Christmas season, okay? Now, the contest itself, they only had one judge. I mean, seriously, just one. I mean, you couldn't get somebody from the crew. You couldn't find another person or whatever else to be a judge. I mean, it's insane. Anyway, so finally my wife says that the guy that played the lead in this, Ross Yergel, is now her favorite guy. I mean, look, he truly looks like a younger, much fitter version of her now number 2, Sam Yeager. I mean, they could be separated at birth. And when I showed Lisa a video of old Ross working out and no shirt, oh, she got her va-va-voom back for sure. So set your DVR and give this one a watch. Now, if you've enjoyed these reviews, be sure to give me some thumbs up. And to see reviews of my top 3 movies for the weekend of November 4th through 6th, be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell. And I wish you a Merry Christmas.